Okay, well, let's get started. We have good content this morning. Welcome everyone for joining us in this Phoenix Tableau user group today. Just quick, a few things you should be aware of. Yes, you are on mute. We cannot see your video. And one of the things is that this session will be recorded and we're gonna share it out as well as the deck. And we just hope that you're gonna have so much fun and we all gonna learn a lot of things. So this is our June 2022 Phoenix Tableau user group. Again, as a reminder, all participants are muted. One of the things is that if you need to, you feel like you want to participate instead of chatting, you want to say something, you can unmute yourself to be able to hear your voice. Also, please go ahead and add all your comments in the chat for any questions. We have a team who are going to be just looking out for those questions to be able that we can answer. And again, as I say before, this session will be recorded and will be available in the YouTube channel that you see here. And we'll be able to post that on the chat so you know which channel we're talking about. So we have a really good agenda. We're gonna go, before we start, we're gonna go through some announcements and updates. Also, we have a really great presentation by Dustin. He's gonna talk about the 3 quick wins projects you can deliver using Tableau. After that, we're gonna review some of the Tableau new features and demo, and we're gonna have a demo. We're gonna go to Tableau trivia. And before we wrap up, we're gonna go through a Q&A session. So we have lots of great content in this session. So one of the things here, just meet the team. This is the leadership team, the Tableau user group. Myself, I haven't introduced myself, Adriana Williamson. I've been co-leading the group for a few months, but then you have Michael. I'm sure you all know Michael Pergo. He's the leader of the user group, as well as Mashahed and Destiny. So we're all happy to have you here. So just a few announcements. We just want to, as we like to walk you through some of the things that are out there that you should be aware of. You should probably take advantage of these resources. There is a free Tableau e-learning. Use it. It's very good and useful. I myself, even though I have been a Tableau user for a few years, I like to keep using these resources. It really, the Tableau e-learning, it walks you through all the concepts of Tableau, not just Tableau Desktop, but also Tableau Server. I highly recommend it. When you go through this Tableau e-learning, as you progress on your sessions and in your practices, you should be getting the different badges that you are interested. It's a lot of fun to go through these sessions. I say, and you learn a lot. It also prepares you for certifications as well. So I highly, highly recommend you take advantage of this Tableau e-learning. So as you know, if some of you were at the conference, Tableau conference in May, there are a lot of cool new features coming up. And we have some of the latest release of Tableau, which are already here on the new version of Tableau Desktop 2020.4. The exciting thing is that it offers a lot of new and better features to stay secure, to stay connected with your analytics and the flow of your business. And it also has really nice capabilities to help you work faster with your data. So there are a lot of really exciting features on this 2021.4 release. like I was saying before, with the e-learning, they help you to prepare for some of these certifications. Again, if you really want to take your career to the next level, certifications will make a difference. Trust me, believe me. It's something I had applied on my own experience. Not only I have been using Tableau for I don't know, about 5 years now, but from the point I started getting certifications, my career opportunities have tremendously opened. It shows your knowledge, it verifies and it certifies you as a Tableau developer or Tableau server. I highly recommend, especially you do have a little bit of experience or years experience and you don't have a certification yet, consider it. Is totally worth it. And so the new certifications that are out there, the specialists, I recommend that for people who are a few months into Tableau. The data analyst now is the new one. I think it is more like replacing what it used to be before, which was the desktop associate. Now it's data analyst. And for those who are server can get certified associates. And if you're a consultant and working for a partner, it's necessary and required that you become a certified associate consultant to be able to provide consulting around Tableau. So I highly recommend any of these certifications. Like I say, certifications will make a difference in your career. So take advantage of that. Also, not only e-learning or certifications, I also encourage you to take advantage and join the Tableau community. It is amazing of the support and the things you find out there. You don't have to figure things by yourself, and that you have a community that you can reach out. In reality is that now that Tableau is part of Salesforce, there is a lot of things that you can learn and ask out there. You can get more personalized experience. Is a more enhanced search. You really get access to more content, and then the best thing, it just connects you with other people. You're not alone again. So take advantage of this and join the Tableau community. Well, some of the upcoming events that we recommend: Friday, August 12th, there is this Data and Analytics Career Summit. Take advantage of this. You have the link here on the deck, but we also will post it for you on the chat. So if you're interested, this is something that you should take advantage. This upcoming event is just basically gonna walk you through why it makes sense to be on the data career and what are the things and best practices, how you can get started in your next role. And hopefully this can help you to get to the next place where you want to be. Well, as I mentioned before when we started, it was really nice being at the Tableau conference. I hope most of you took advantage of the last Tableau conference. If you were not able to be in person, there is a lot of content online, and this is some of the things you can use. Resource review. You can go over the opening keynote. And then select the sessions. Again, it was I was there in person, and I had a blast. There's a lot of learning, and I hope that a lot of you were able to join. If not, take advantage of these resources. And I'd really recommend that you go back and review sessions, and if you can access them, spend some time doing that, because there is a lot of new content. There's a lot of new changes that if you are in the data career and using Tableau, you should know what's coming next. That's super important. Believe me, my personal experience, the more you know of what's new coming on the new releases, it's either gonna help you transform the way that you're currently using Tableau, and it's going to help you transform the way you provide your service. Just be aware of those features. Think about how you can include those features on the work you're doing. And I consider each feature to make our life easier as developers, but also be able to provide more value to our end users. So this is what I have as announcements. The next thing is that I'm excited to introduce Dustin Schimik. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, Dustin.
Yes, sounds pretty good. Thank
okay,
you.
Perfect. And he is gonna walk us through how are the 3 quick win projects you can deliver using Tableau. So let's welcome Dustin. Thank you for being here, and let's take it away.
Perfect. Thanks so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yep. Let me stop sharing.
Okay. Full screen. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see
Wonderful. It. All right, cool. And actually, I wanted to thank you too for giving a shout out to the Data Careers Summit on August 12th. So Brandy Beals and I both live in the Milwaukee area, and Brandy is the leader of the Milwaukee Tableau user group. I believe there's been some joint meetings between the Phoenix and Milwaukee tugs, so you may know Brandy. But we're actually doing a massive survey of folks in the analytics field to get a feel for the path that they took to their current role in analytics. So be it from an entry-level analyst all the way up to a vice president of analytics or chief data officer. The purpose of this survey is to get a feel for, using data, what their path looked like to their current role. What was the education? What was the experience that they had? What were the previous roles that they had? And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll up that data, and amongst other things, we're going to present that at the Careers Summit and bring in some speakers to speak to, what this might mean to you and how you can move forward in your analytics career. So I wanted to share a little bit of added context. So there's the survey. If you follow Brandy or I on LinkedIn, you can see the link to the survey. That'll close at the end of this month, and then we'll have the summit in August. And it's open to everyone, free to attend. So thanks again for the shout out there. I'll get the chat window out of my screen here. I'm Dustin Schimik. I live in Milwaukee, and I'm the founder of this brand, Data Ideas. And so why Data Ideas? Well, I've been using Tableau for about 10 years. I've been in the analytics field for a little over 10 years, and I went from an entry-level analyst using Tableau almost from the beginning to a director of analytics at the last company I worked for, where I was kind of leading analytics projects and roadmaps for the entire company. This was at a company called Masterlock here in our area. If you ever had a locker in school, you probably had their portable combination lock on your locker. But over the course of my career, what I realized was that I wasn't advancing because I was the most technically savvy person. I'm not the most technically savvy person. I'm not the best Tableau user out there. I'm not the best user of a lot of tools that are out there. I'm not the best programmer. But what I have been really good at is finding ways to use analytics to help a business. So after I really started to understand the analytics field and landscape of tools and things like this, what I was finding was that I was going to meetings, and when I would go to a meeting, I would sit down, and by the end of the meeting, I'd have 2 or 3 ideas for how we could use analytics to solve some of these problems that no one could seem to solve. And sometimes after I, got more confident over the years, I would just start bringing these ideas up in meetings, and then people would be like, if it was a good one, they'd be like, say that again. They'd write it down, and then maybe we would do it. And then over the years, I got invited to participate in some executive level conversations where I would share ideas for using analytics for the business. And I ultimately ended up in a role, like I said, where I managed kind of a roadmap of analytics projects for the organization. And by the end of my corporate career, before I left and started doing my own thing, I was having frequent meetings with the president of our company. And, I would meet with them and I would share with them a few ideas, for how we might solve something. And then, he'd say, where do you come up with this stuff? And I'd say, well, almost embarrassingly, I'd say I've got about 50 or 60 more, that I wanted to share with you, but I had to trim it to a few because we only had limited time. And so I thought, gosh, you know what? Maybe at this point, it would just be better if I would just start sharing these more broadly And that's why I started this organization, Data Ideas. And so I host live events. If you find me on LinkedIn frequently, to bring in other folks that have ideas for using analytics. I'm going to share with you today a repository of ideas that I've been publishing a new, concept for using analytics to out every week. I send that out to my mailing list as well. I'm only going to share 3 with you today. It's just kind of a scratch of the surface, but if you want, you can go take a look at some of the others that I have, and I'm adding to it every week. So that's the story behind Data Ideas. I guess this is supposed to be me, this cartoon character here with all the light bulbs next to his desk. Not every idea worked out, but enough did that I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to share this information more broadly. So I'm gonna share some simple ones with you, and then again, you can take a look at them later on my website if you want. But just a few more quick facts. So this month, I'm actually I'm the judge of the Data DNA Challenge. So if any of you follow the hashtag Data DNA on LinkedIn, it has quite a following. I'm finding out with all the entries that I'm reviewing this month. But take a look at that challenge. It does close at the end of this month. It's a pretty fun one. I am co-hosting the Data Analytics Career Summit, as was mentioned earlier, something to take a look at. Mentioned Data Ideas. I'm also this summer have a really nice opportunity here to build a data strategy course for Data Camp. So I'm working on that this summer. Should be released this fall. I was a speaker at Tableau conference in 2019. I'm going to share something that I shared at that conference in 2019 today. Like I mentioned earlier, as a former director of analytics at Masterlock, and more recently, I've been sharing some of these ideas on TikTok. It would have been the last place I would have ever expected to land, but I'm really enjoying it. If you're not on there, I would recommend actually getting on there. And again, that would be the last thing that I ever thought I would recommend or would be saying right now on this date. So if you go on my website, what I've got is, I mentioned I have a repository of analytics project ideas, and I started to get so many on there that I kind of organized them in a scatter plot using Tableau. And I started to plot them out so that you could see for each idea is a dot on this scatter plot, which ones are higher effort and which ones are higher impact, which ones are lower effort, which ones are lower impact, and then what kind of business function they relate to. And so this kind of is intended to help. It's on my website, dataideas.co, and it's out there to help kind of navigate these ideas as I continue to build this repository. But the 3 that I'm going to share with you today, I'm kind of picking one from each range here, a quick win, kind of a medium effort one, and then kind of a high effort one. And what I want to do is start with, if I switch over here, I'm going to start with how I've used Tableau to apply the 80-20 rule. I think folks can talk in the chat. Let me see if I've got it. Or you can actually come up. If you want to turn your screen on and talk verbally, that would be great. It's kind of, I really like presenting in person because I can see my audience. But if anyone has an example of how the 80-20 rule works in business or, in the real world, why don't you go ahead and type it in the chat or just come on video and share it. And while you do that, I'll start with one. So at Tableau conference in 2019, I presented on the 80-20 rule and how we were using Tableau and the 80-20 rule to simplify our business at Masterlock. And so what we were doing there was we were using the 80-20 rule to take a look at what products that we sold were driving 80% of our revenue. And so what we found was, as many companies would find, about 20% of our products were driving about 80% of our revenue. Same thing for our customer base. About 20% of our customers were driving about 80% of our revenue. Now, you also see this in the real world too. Income distribution is something, wealth distribution is something that's commonly referenced. This was actually, the principle actually came up by a gentleman whose last name was Pareto, and he found that the peas in his garden, 20% of them were driving like 80% of the overall volume of peas in his garden. I can't see that. For some reason, I can't see the chat. I apologize. Trying to get that back up here. Oh, here we go. All right. Wilfredo Pareto, that's right. Yeah, losing weight, 80% food, 20% exercise. I actually hadn't heard that one. Customer revenue, yep, that's an easy one for sure. Cool. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do with it. So let's have some fun quick here. And I am going to switch over to my Tableau public site. And I'm actually going to share with you. Actually, you know what? I'll just show you quick on YouTube. If you want to see a little bit more on this, you can view my presentation. This was at TC19. Gosh, was that a good time, wasn't it? Right before the pandemic hit. Pandemic was a distant thought from all of us. But yeah, I presented this one out there, and I shared actually this really simple example. Again, you're going to see very quickly, I'm not the most technical person. My Tableau skills have gotten better, but this is a really simple example of the 80-20 rule and using Tableau to find your 80s and 20s. And so what I did was I went on Kaggle, the data source is down here, and I found the NBA players data set on Kaggle. And some of the attributes in there let me produce a visual where I can take a look at the number of points scored in the NBA by the college of the player in the NBA. And what we see is that 20%, roughly 20% of the colleges that sent players to the NBA are responsible for about 80% of the scoring in the NBA. So type in the chat, or again, come on video. I would love it if at least one person would turn on video and come and talk. But if not, that's okay. But who do you think are in the top 5 or top 10 colleges driving, you know, that initial, let's see if there's maybe 10 or 15 driving the first 40% of scoring in the NBA? Which ones do you think they are? Just name 1 or 2. There might be one in your home state. Put it in the chat, or come on if you want to, if you're daring enough. I'd be willing to bet there was 30 some people, I think, in here. I'd be willing to bet someone could guess 1. I'll give 30 seconds of
I'll guess silence. University of Arizona.
Arizona, okay, that's a good one. Alabama, Florida. All right, Kentucky. All right. Okay, so number 1 is North Carolina. Okay, so UNC sent players, no surprise who's at the top there. Jordan's at the top of the mini Pareto there for UNC, but North Carolina has actually been responsible for 4%. Players from North Carolina have been responsible for 4% of the scoring in the NBA. If you think about it, there's 300 plus colleges. That's pretty impressive, right? No one else in the chat. Wrong sport, football. Yeah, Alabama, I was going to say might be for football. Duke is number 2. So between Duke and UNC, that cumulative percentage is already at 8%. So those 2 colleges are responsible for 8% of the scoring in the NBA. Go up to number 3, Kentucky. So someone was right. Oscar, good pick with Kentucky. So these first 3 are responsible for 12% of the scoring in the NBA. Again, this is out of 300 and some colleges. Yep. So Jenna says, would love to see this one. Film schools and directors. Absolutely. Okay, so now we got UConn, Arizona. There it is at number 6. So now Arizona and the 5 before it are responsible for 18% of the scoring in the NBA. UCLA, Georgia Tech, we'll go Georgetown, Florida. Someone said Florida, Michigan State. I think those would be pretty common guesses. So what you can see is here, I'm going to grab it on this chart. And this is where I produced, when I was doing this for the business application that I mentioned, I produced tons of these. We were looking at the business from all different angles. And what you can do is you can quickly, Tableau is a perfect tool for this, because you can quickly grab, you know, just visually looking at the visualization of the data, you can grab the roughly 20% of whatever that's driving 80% of the volume. And so there you see, you know, roughly, you just look at this visually, this is about 1/5 of the way over. So every bar is a college on here. About 1/5 or 20% of these are driving 80% of the scoring. And if you want to go into my Tableau public site and look at this, you can find your college. And let's see if actually we can find Alabama. But Alabama was in the, it was just over the 40% cumulative mark. Someone said Alabama. So I guess they're pretty decent too in terms of sending NBA players that score in an NBA. So now if you think about it, it's fun to look at this by college and NBA scoring, right? But, you know, if you've got SKUs or products or categories or customers or, you know, whatever you want to look at in your business, you want to know where to focus on something. You know, maybe it's marketing campaigns, who knows? here's your stuff to focus on. Here's your stuff to put process improvement initiatives around. Here's your stuff to make sure that you're blocking time to do in your day. What commonly happens is this stuff out here, because it's so voluminous, eats up most of our time, but the value is usually added here. And the same thing is probably very true. If you were to look at the activities that you spend your time on and what adds value, you'd probably get something very similar to this. So something to think about, very useful tool, doing this kind of analysis and digging into it way deeper than this totally changed my life and approach to things. So recommend taking a look at this. Tableau is such a fun tool to use with 80/20. Let me know in the chat or come on if you've ever done 80/20 analysis. I'd love to hear your experience. Let me know if you have any questions with it too. Again, if you go out onto YouTube, just search for Master Lock or Dustin Schimik or 80/20 and Dustin Schimik or whatever, and you can find this. I'm also going to include it in the deck as a link, so you can get to this if you'd like. All right. Go ahead and put the questions in the chat, and I'm going to go on to the next thing, but I'll stop if there's any questions. All right. All right. Another simple, use case here, one that I've actually used. So I want you to think about using Tableau to monitor the sales of a new product launch. And there's a couple of use cases that I've used this for. So if you think about, I put an image of an air traffic control up, right? And air traffic controllers have a very defined process for how they monitor air traffic. And they're doing this so that they can see where everything is. If they have to make adjustments, they can do that. If they have to kind of make a strategy change in real time, they can do that. They can communicate with the pilots and things like that. I've used Tableau in a similar way for when we launch a new product at a business. And let me show you just a really simple view that's simple, but tends to really resonate with folks. So when you launch a new product, you're going to have legacy sales probably of a similar product. If you're in a business that manufactures products or sells products, you're gonna have sales of your legacy product, and then you're gonna have sales of your new product. And one thing you can do is, on whatever time frame it makes sense to do it, get together with the key stakeholders, or make sure that you yourself are watching this, or you have a group of people watching this, but see where that new product is selling. And this is just a simple view. There's lots of stuff you can use Tableau for, but if you just color code, legacy product sales versus new product sales, and watch where the new product sales are. And again, the key to this one is the process. It's not the visualization. Visualization's easy, right? But if you're sitting down with the right stakeholders, the marketing team, the sales team, the product managers, et cetera, and you're watching where those new product sales are going, look, I just clicked March. It doesn't have to be March or month 3, maybe it's week 3 or whatever. And a sale pops out in Seattle or the Pacific Northwest or whatever, maybe you go talk to that sales rep, or maybe you go talk to whoever it is that's responsible for that sale out there, or that customer, interview them, see what the use application is for the product, see how that sale took place. And then look at the areas where there's legacy sales. There's a lot in the Northeast. How do we share that win or share that knowledge around that win with other parts of the country and try to accelerate the ramp of the new product? That's just one example. You could use this for lots of use cases around this. Now, one thing I like to do is, as a new product sale ramps up, I used to meet with customers as an analyst. And so when I met with customers, as we were, kind of pitching the value proposition of a new product, what I would do is, I'd share a view similar to this, masked, of course, not showing specifics or anything, but just showing kind of what the footprint looked like of new product sales. And, folks that are selling your product, if you're a manufacturer, they want to see a wide geographical footprint. And this is a very intuitive view that you can put in front of customers so they can quickly see, hey, there is a national footprint of sales. And you know what? It is on a positive growth trajectory. And by the way, if you do this as an interactive view in front of them, it's kind of scary sometimes to do a live demo, but gosh, that theater aspect to it, I've literally heard someone say that's so freaking cool, when I'm clicking through stuff and bringing up new dots and everything. It's just a level of interactivity to it that makes it fun. So definitely something I'd recommend if you meet with customers or you work with people that meet with customers, something that kind of helps with that stickiness with the relationship with them. Again, it's amazing how you can use Tableau in very simple ways, but it's the way you use it can drive a lot of impact. All right, let me know if you have questions on this or how I've used this. I'm going to switch over to my final one here. I'm at 12:32, so I know I've got 13 minutes left, I think. All right. Okay, using Google search trend data. So I don't know if any of you have ever used Google search trend data, but I'll start with where I get it. If you go out to trends.google.com, and again, I'll put this in the deck. What you can do is you can actually search for, now I want to warn you, this is actually pretty addicting. So, you know, when you start using this, you might lose your weekend, you know, to looking at this stuff. But if you search for a certain term, like a product you sell or something you're interested in, you know, what you end up getting back from Google, you type in the search term or topic, you end up getting back kind of the activity, the seasonality around that search volume, where the search volume is taking place geographically. And you can do US or you can do the world or specific countries. You can see what the related search queries are too for it. So it's really cool data, but the awesome thing is that they actually let you download it. So you can actually download the data, you know, scrape it, put it together into a file, and then connect it to Tableau. And what I like to do is I have some of these out on my Tableau public site too. These look a little better than my Pareto charts, but I've got a dashboard I built where I took Google searches for iced coffee. I'm going to use that one as an example here because there's something interesting related to Arizona there. But I've got another one for inflation. You can even see, just looking at this one visually, that's the search value by time period. It's really popping lately. People are really thinking about inflation. But then I've also got one for a food that is a fun food item that we like in the Midwest here, bratwurst, but I don't think it's too popular outside of the US, and the data shows that. You can take a look at that one on your own time if you'd like. But I'll click on this iced coffee one, and here's some of the data that you can get from Google. Now there's other stuff you can get as well, but you can get kind of where the search volume is taking place. You can see down in Phoenix and Southwest Arizona, there's a lot of folks searching for iced coffee. Same thing in the Midwest, same thing in the Northeast. And then I actually ranked where these iced coffee sales are by metro. I think Phoenix there's a ton of metros, but Phoenix was like, there it is, like number 12 or 13 or so. And then there was another Arizona county or metro area, I think, yeah, Yuma. That was one of the top searchers. You get a feel for the seasonality, obviously summertime, you know, it pops more. But look at what's interesting here is you look at the pandemic period and the volume really popped, and it's almost reached like kind of a new baseline. You know, so there's a little bit less seasonality there. Pretty interesting. Could it be an opportunity for someone looking to break into the iced coffee business? Don't know. I did share an idea, several ideas out on my website as to how you could use this data if you were launching a new product. There's you know, the volume of search queries. So you can see like Starbucks is a related query that people are searching for if they're searching for iced coffee. Dunkin' is another one. So you imagine, like, one of the examples I gave on my website was if you were you know, launching a new product or new brand around iced coffee or something, you know, take a look at the overall search volume, take a look at, compare that to the search volume for some of these top brands that are being searched for. See, are there pockets of opportunity? You know, for example, is Southern California or Southwest Arizona an area where there's a lot of search volume, but not a lot of people looking for Starbucks or Dunkin'? You know, simple example, but things like that. Tons of use cases for this data. One thing that I would use it for myself is, you know, I would also share stuff like this with customers of mine, you know, and I'd plug in search terms of the products that we sold, you know, and I'd hold up the product, the physical product, and say, hey, if you search for this product, here's what the volume looks like in Google, and look at that national footprint and look at the volume levels, you know, and look at what else people are looking for. And that leads to all kinds of interesting discussions and further analysis. So another tool you can use in a lot of different ways, both for internal research and then also to add value. If you work for a company where you serve a customer base, share stuff like this with them, you know, as appropriate. I mean, don't ever share stuff that you have to protect, you know, as a company, but use things like this kind of creatively to open up conversations. And when you do it the right way, gosh, does it make the sales team or marketing team's job easier. It really does. I think you'll find you'll become their new best friend if you do that. So just a few examples here. I'm at 12:37. So I'm gonna wrap it down here. What else do we have here? So if you want more project ideas, you can go out to my website here. I'll pull it up. So if you go to my website and you click on, oh, that Zoom thing is, you click on ideas at the top, it'll pull up this whole repository. So underneath here, there's a weekly idea that's published and it goes on for quite a while. But then you can also point and click to all these ideas that are out there and read more about them. Each of these are on there that I presented along with some additional commentary on each of them. So I'm working on building this to the point where, hopefully this is too dense where we have to make the visual look a little bit different, but one's being added per week, shared a couple with you. And I'm definitely open to any questions if you have them. I also send out a new idea every week to my mailing list. So whenever I publish a new one to my website, I send it out to my mailing list as well. This QR code, I'll blow it up. This QR code will take you to like a 3-field form to fill out if you want to get that from me. But I always add some commentary, or send out a video that has some commentary around the ideas. So it's not just, dumping a chart out there and saying nothing about it. And then let's see what else. I do post to LinkedIn regularly, usually once or twice a day. So if you want to find me on there, I'm just Dustin Schimik. You see my name in the chat here. Again, I post a lot of the ideas out there too, along with a lot of commentary around things like data strategy, how I was able to rise up in the analytics field, what I would recommend to do if you were rising up in the field, stuff on Tableau. I'll share, things from speaking engagements that I have. I'll probably post a follow-up about the Phoenix Tug. So LinkedIn is a good place to find me. Again, a new one, TikTok. Never thought I'd be saying this, but I do really enjoy the platform. Sharing lots of thoughts around these same things out there, as well as some of the data ideas concepts, and then my website as well. So I'll leave it back on here. If you want to sign up for my mailing list, again, there's the QR code. You'll just get a weekly idea from me. I think I'm at about time, maybe a few minutes early, but let me know if you have any questions for me. I'd be glad to take them.
Dustin, I have a few questions. I love what you presented in terms of your map. One is how maps can be powerful, and also I really love your Google search. In the area of the Google search and adding to your ideas, do you also go with the how you prepare the data to create your visualizations as you present your ideas? Or because I think that could be very useful for people to say, this is how you prepare your data to create a dashboard like this.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So I do, I haven't on that one, but I do have some quick win concepts that are posted out to my YouTube channel that do like a 5-minute walkthrough end to end for a few quick win dashboards. I would love to do more of that. Little time constraint, but that would be certainly a valuable thing to do. I'd say the 4 videos I have out on the quick wins walking through from start to finish, I'd say that would be a good starting point for some folks. But in terms of the actual technical tutorials, I don't do a lot of that.
No, and that's fair. I think your ideas are amazing. I'm just sharing additional information on the map. I have used the map in the past to show not only new products, but also for companies that are direct selling. They're always about customers, like where they're gaining customers and where they're losing customers, or where they need to expand to get new customers. So the idea of your map is so powerful,
right? Because
not only you can see the national footprint, but you can also help marketing teams to strategize as to why a product does better in one area versus another area, or customers as well, right? Sometimes we want to expand to other targets, maybe the Hispanic market, maybe other markets, right? And their maps are like the one you show are super powerful tools to visualize that to players and stakeholders. So that's a great visual.
Agree completely. Yeah, I think as it pertains to marketing campaigns, you could overlay, you could look at the sales trend and overlay, what campaigns went out at what time, and to what areas. And that's a way to see, was there a campaign that overperformed or underperformed, or maybe the spike wasn't even driven by the campaign, but at least you've got the data in front of you to have those conversations. And if the campaign did drive it, then gosh, you want to do more and more of those.
Powerful. Yes. There is a question from Raul in the chat.
Yeah, good question. No, I haven't. I've actually to produce these dashboards that I've built, I've just been you can go and set the parameters as you want on the Google Trends site and just download the CSV files, and then I kind of clean those up and combine them into one CSV. But no, that's a great suggestion. I'm not really using the data systematically. It's more just for fun or for one-off things, that I've used it for in the past. But if you wanted to use it more systematically, that's a great suggestion.
I do think Google blocks some of that because we've tried to do some of that. So I don't know if they let you do too much systematically with that data, because we've had people working here with that and they've had trouble. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you can, and I will also say I don't know of anyone that is personally, but maybe they're doing it and they didn't say anything.
So Dustin, I have a question, maybe to shift more on the career side of things.
Yeah, sure.
So as users are, either looking to upskill, enter the market, move up, or just change career paths. I know you have, a pretty robust Tableau public profile, but I guess, aside from attending on August 12th, what would some of the, maybe top 3, pro tips be, for someone looking to, kind of move up? What do you see the landscape like? And, data visualization, I don't think is kind of the end all be all. So,
no. Right.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, my take is, so it's a little bit different whether it's someone that's looking to break into the field versus, already in the field with some experience and wants to move up. If it's someone that's looking to break into the field, the first resource that I always point them to is there's actually an amazing podcast that has a really large following called How to Get an Analytics Job. How to Get an Analytics Job. I'll type it into the chat. But I was a guest on there once, but there's been tons of guests on there and tons of content from that one. And they actually bring students of analytics program at the college where the podcast is hosted onto the show, along with experts that they interview. And they will have like the experts review these students' resumes live. They'll do live Q&A with folks that are seeking jobs. And it's just a great resource, a lot of good content. And actually the LinkedIn page, and I think the YouTube postings have some good conversation. You can go to LinkedIn Live events too, where they actually do the podcast on LinkedIn Live too, so you can ask questions live there. So I think that's a really good resource. I know people that have started following that resource and then have ended up getting a job. So that's a good one. There's a variety of pathways to get in and move up. That's something that with this survey we're trying to learn more about. But I would also recommend for either someone that's just getting started or trying to move up, I would really recommend being active on LinkedIn out of all the platforms. I would start following some folks there. I'd start engaging in conversation. My gosh, the amount of jobs, promotions, new friends, new contacts that I see taking place on there every day, week is mind blowing. I think if folks don't have a strategy around how they're using that, it's good time to get one and to take it seriously. I think it's just a tool that's it's a major positive that we have right now to be able to do that. And then moving up, here's my advice there. So now talking to just moving up in an organization, if you want to just move up in your organization, or you don't really want to do the LinkedIn thing, I would say, this is probably a little bit counterintuitive, and maybe different advice than some would give, but my recommendation would be, take a look at where there's opportunities. Find a really good opportunity in the company. Find something where, okay, here's a key person, or influencer in the organization where they're struggling with something, and gosh, I could make their life easier if I use my technical skills to produce this solution. Or gosh, here's something where in this meeting I'm always a part of, people are always getting hung up on, and I can use my technical skills to solve that problem. Or here's some opportunity that the company could benefit from, from a growth standpoint. If I created some tool like this, you're going to have to probably block some time to create some proof of concepts around these things using your technical skills. But when you do that kind of stuff, take the extra effort, maybe an extra 5 or 10% of your time to do those things. And then, force, those things in front of the right people, and I don't mean aggressively or inappropriately. I mean politely, but do, have the courage to share those things with folks in positions of influence, because the thing is they probably don't know what the capabilities are. They probably don't know. And so, that's part of what I think our responsibility is as analytics professionals. And I'm not saying anyone here is doing this or isn't doing this, but this is just my raw take on it. I think our responsibility as analytics professionals, one of them is to show people what's possible, because we assume that folks, because data is talked about so much in the media and business and whatever, people do, let's be honest, people use the terms, the buzzwords, to sound like they know what they're talking about, but 80-20 rule, not everybody does, right? And so show them what's possible, and make a name for yourself in doing so. And I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it'll benefit you and it'll benefit the organization.
Yeah, that's actually good points. I'll just share maybe something, for myself. I think we wait for organizations to either, hold positions or push something out, or, acknowledge what we're doing and promote us. I've never been fortunate enough to kind of be in that position, but I have been fortunate enough to be innovative and, tenacious to some degree, like you're saying. And early on, when Tableau first kind of came out, understanding what the tool can do and the capabilities and working with different teams. And I've been fortunate enough to actually create my own position. Cool. So that's running awesome. Center of Excellences, or, managing BI environments, and then doing the training. And now you see organizations that want these types of things. Hey, we need someone to, lead enablement and engagement and so forth. So I take kind of what you're saying to heart, and kind of encourage everyone else, don't necessarily wait for something, to manifest, if at all possible, kind of forge your own destiny and, create your own opportunity, your own job. What do you want to do? And if the organization values you, they'll make that happen. If not, you've got the skills to go out and actually do that for someone else.
Completely agree.
Definitely.
All right. Any other questions, feedback from the audience? If not, we've shared a lot of links for you to get in touch with Dustin. Again, please sign up for the Data Career Summit happening August 12th. Both Brandy and Dustin, amazing individuals. I'm sure you're gonna get a lot out of that if you haven't already. Put the link in there for the survey. Go ahead and help participate by providing some information.
Thank you.
Those results will be shared as well. We've got links to your website, LinkedIn, TikTok. You're gonna have a whole bunch of new followers by the end of the day for
Yep.
sure.
That's for sure. Me,
So,
I just click follow for Dustin. I think your presentation adds a lot of value. I'm a professional that's been around for 15 years in the data, and it just excites me to have you here, Dustin, and all the experience you're sharing and all the great ideas. I think that's very valuable, even for people like me. It doesn't matter you're entry level or way ahead in your career on the data side. This is exciting. So thank you so much for sharing everything that you shared today.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the invitation, and feel free to anyone, if you have questions, want to follow up with me afterwards, you know where to find me now. And I live, sleep, eat, and breathe this stuff. So don't be shy. You can reach out if you want.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks, Dustin.
Yep. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so I guess we'll kind of move on to the next segment here. So next segment, we're gonna talk a little bit about kind of what transpired from Tableau conference. So I'd like to hear maybe in the chat, for those of you maybe that attended in person, or if you were able to attend virtually, they shared a lot of new capabilities, features coming out relatively soon and in the future. Is there anything that you're excited about, looking forward to seeing? We're going to take a look at a couple things in just a moment, but want to get everyone's take. And as we've always kind of professed before, making sure that you're at least aware of what's happening. These are great ways to be in tune with how you can help your organization. And as Dustin was saying, if you want to be that person that's being innovative or proactive within your organization, these are ways to do that. Understanding of what's capable, of what's coming. A lot of the things that we're going to share with you today, again, are available for you at no cost. So you don't have to necessarily wait for your organization to deploy or release a lot of these things. These are things that you can do on your own. Tableau makes it really easy, in Salesforce as well, to spin up your own environments, the SaaS solutions or new features and capabilities. Start doing things on your own. So Mujahid, excited about Model Builder inside of Tableau. So Model Builder, I was fortunate enough, I was able to attend conference in person, spent a lot of time with some of the product leads, at the booths, going over some of the new capabilities that they were showing. So Model Builder, Scenario Builder were a couple things that I got to play with quite a bit. So if you are a Salesforce customer, you probably are already using some of these tools to some degree, but now we're starting to see a lot of Salesforce-esque features kind of coming in directly into Tableau. So there's some excitement around that. Now I don't have Model Builder up for you to kind of share what that looks like, but if you do go out to the link, the tableau.com/conference, you're going to get to see a lot of the keynotes and sessions pre-recorded, mostly for the virtual attendees, but again, still a great way to get engaged on that side. Rahul, like the image role feature that you were announced, don't know if it's available yet though. That's a good question. So I do have a 22.2 release. We can actually kind of take a look and see. I'll share my screen and we can kind of go through. And then Adriana, if you can just kind of monitor the chat.
Yes, definitely.
I'm running a single monitor here, so let me kind of go through. So I put into the chat early on some of these websites. So if you go to the tableau.com/new-features, it's going to give you a preview of what's capable in the latest release. So the most current release today is 22.1. You can go through, watch a nice video. We're actually going to see again, if you've listened to us or joined us before, we've kind of promoted Workbook Optimizer. We're going to take a look at that again in just a moment. Some new features with search, ask data phrase builder, more in-depth features from former Tableau visionary. And if you want to see everything that's included, scroll down to the bottom, and this is where all of your features kind of are baked in for the 22.1 feature. If you want to slice that down by specific product, you can do that. But you can see a lot of good stuff is baked in here. We know that model builder and so forth, those are coming hopefully relatively soon. It's not necessarily going to be baked into this release, but nonetheless, a lot of good stuff. Now, if you do want to see what's coming soon, consider 22.2. Hopefully in the next week or two, we actually might be getting to see these features. So at the conference or even online, if you're an online customer, you probably already have data stories. It's actually a dashboard object that you can kind of build in. This was basically promoted through an acquisition from Tableau. So now we get to see real life data stories. If you kind of want to get an understanding of what data stories is, it's really more or less interpreting what's within your dashboard and being able to relate that out to actual plain text, giving you some indications of, maybe outliers or certain key indicators, telling that more in a narrative type of story. So this company, Narrative Science, was originally, again, out there as a kind of a plugin. Now Tableau's bought them, incorporated into the product, and now you've got something like data stories. See if this kind of works. Sort of, it does. So you could see over here as I zoom in the dashboard object, you got the data story. Data story is kind of going to be baked in there, no additional cost. If you are a Tableau online customer, again, you've probably already got this. If not, you can probably log into a sandbox version, one of those AX domains. If that makes sense, you'll know what that means. Otherwise, stay tuned. A lot of these things are coming out relatively soon, more or less with this 22.2. Again, a lot of good stuff here. And I will say, I was pretty impressed with this release because it did focus a lot on kind of enterprise capabilities. So Tableau Online, Tableau, which is now branded Tableau Cloud, Tableau Server, some improvements there. Some good desktop prep improvements as well. But overall, I think you're going to start to see more maturity with what the enterprises and those kind of capabilities are able to do. So let's take a quick look at the Workbook Optimizer. Workbook Optimizer is available in 22.1. This is the version that I am running locally on my computer. And we do recommend everyone kind of go through this. So when you're considering doing things through best practice and you want to make sure that your dashboards are fast and efficient and you've done all you could to make sure that they're in tip-top shape, before you publish your dashboard, you go to server, you can run this optimizer. And when you run the optimizer, it's going to go through some analysis and check things on, what's good and what's not good and so on and so forth. So again, remember, I'm running 22.1, and this is essentially the first iteration of Optimizer. And what you could do is you can kind of drill in and you can understand, well, what's bad here that I need to actually take action. I've got some unused fields in my data that I haven't hidden. So those are going to come across and it could cause a performance lag. Great. These are one of the things that if you ever run a checklist internally, this should be on your checklist. Make sure that before you publish, you go through and you hide all unused fields. There's a section here for needs review, and we could take a look at that. Now, there's a calculation that uses multiple data sources. My Superstore connection has two calculations that are using another data source. Maybe that's what I intended, maybe it's not. But what's nice is Tableau gives you some links and some information on what you can do to either improve or maybe do something in a better state to address that. And then I've got some 10 things here in this dashboard that have passed successfully. So everything in best practice terms, these are all solid. Now, once you make your changes or you do some improvements, you can actually rerun your optimizer, and that'll go through and reassess things. I also have a 22.2 release, so the pre-release. This will be the next release of Tableau. Again, hopefully in the next week or two, maybe we'll get to see that. Now you could see here from the first one, we've got 12 items that were assessed from this workbook. I'm going to go through server again. I'm going to run the optimizer. And now we can see that there's 17 here. So there's even more, I guess, in this next iteration that Tableau's considering when it looks at best practice or things that you need to make sure that you're doing appropriately. So as we go through, again, the single action is still the unused fields. Nothing's changed there, but what has increased is the section within the needs to review. So originally we had the calculation, used the multiple data sources. What we have additionally, we have some things that it's calling out for data blending. The dashboard size, it's not necessarily fixed. Using live data connections where it's not extracts. And again, some of these things may be intentional, but you need to understand that when you do things like this, there's I don't say repercussions, but things to consider where it could cause a performance impact. So this is nice. We could see that by default, the sample dashboard is fixed to a 1000 by 620 automatic. So in that regard, automatic, anything when it's done automatically and you don't have a fixed size, it could cause issues for performance. So there's a good call out there. Data blending is always something of a concern. So Tableau's got cross data capabilities now where you can do joins and all of these things. Even with relationships, there's a lot more capability. So if you are using any kind of blending, consider is that really what you should be doing? And in some cases again, it may be, but just know that there may be some things that you need to consider for that. All right, I'm gonna jump back over to 22.1 and we'll see another feature here. So in 22.1, there was some releases for the new view data capability. So for those of you that have used view data before, you know that as you hover over a section and you've got your little tooltip and you can kind of drill into the view data or right click in view data. This was a nice way to view all that underlying data or summary data, depending on your role within Tableau. Being able to download it, export it, out to Excel or so forth. But over the years, I've been in situations where customers and even my own organization was asking, well, how can we customize that experience? How can we either sort the things or only show certain records? And at the time, the answer was you can't. You know, it's not customizable. It is what it is based on your permissions as well. You know, again, maybe you only saw the summary data. You didn't get to see full data. You weren't able to necessarily download everything. And now Tableau's kind of changed that. So what they've done is, you know, quite a few things. You can actually move things around. So you can reorganize these columns. So if you can see my screen, you can see that I'm moving state around. You can actually show and hide certain fields. So if I did not want state to show on that output, I could essentially eliminate that. And you've got some more aliasing that you can actually do within here. So I know this maybe sample that I picked, you know, doesn't have necessarily a lot of fields, but it's pretty robust. Now, when we go over to 22.2, I'm not really sure that too much has changed, but we can certainly take a look. When we log into the view data and look at that screen, again, we're kind of presented with the same view of that data aspect. You can see the summary data. We can go through, look at the order data, and kind of see that full view, if you will. We can come through and start searching for or hiding certain fields. We can add those back in and remove them. So this is all great. And we can go through and we can start sorting. So again, I'm not necessarily seeing anything different here, but again, if you want more of a deep dive, you know, once this is released, you'll get to see through the documentation, through help guide, through even some videos, kind of what's what. So those are some a couple features we wanted to call out again. If you really wanted to go through and see what's out there, 22.1 is the latest release. You can download that through Tableau Public if that's what you want. You're going to get a lot of pretty much the same bells and whistles for the most part. Workbook Optimizer definitely will not be one of those for now. But for the most part, you'll get a lot of the same features and capabilities. Now, if you do have the ability to download and install your own Tableau Desktop Professional version, go ahead and do that. If you're in an organization that kind of restricts that, maybe hold off. But do keep in mind that you can run things side by side in Tableau. So if 22.1 is your version and 22.2 does come out, do know that you can install both. You can still utilize 22.1 while you're testing out 22.2. But please make sure you check with your organization, IT department, check on that. And if they say no, again, Tableau Public is kind of the way we try to promote your capabilities in learning some of these new features and functionality.
Michael, we do have a question, Allison. Is this available now, the sort feature?
For the view data?
Yes.
So yeah, view data is available today in 22.1. So that is the most current release available. So you can go out there and do that. And like you saw me before, you can come in and start
and you, but
customizing
you're
this
not
look and
able
feel.
to sort, right? Yet only.
Oh yeah, you can
do?
sort.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there's any new enhancements. And again, 22.2 is still technically pre-release. It should be rolled out here relatively soon, the next maybe week, 2-3 weeks or so. But you know, we won't know what the actual released version looks like until it's actually released. What I showed you today was just the pre-release where we're testing that. And I do encourage everyone to, you know, participate in the pre-release program. So if you do go out to prerelease.tableau.com, when this ever comes up, you're able to sign up, register for various projects and participate. Usually the default project where you can sign up for is kind of those pre-releases. So you can get your hands on 22.2, or in this case, the next coming soon release will be the 22.3. So if this is of interest to you to kind of get a sneak peek at what's there before and help Tableau kind of innovate around these products, get some suggestions, do that. Go out to prerelease.tableau.com. Doesn't cost anything. It's not bound by your corporate license. So if you want to do this on your home computers, absolutely, go ahead. When you do need to trial these things out, they do give you a key to use temporarily. So great program to be engaged with. All right, do we have other questions?
No other questions. Right, as of right now.
Okay, yeah, so Allison, yeah, this is out there today. Once you also publish this, you're gonna get some new features, you know, the downloading and so forth. So it helps in the sense that you don't, if you know where the problems lie, you don't necessarily have to elevate their license level anymore. So from viewers to explorers, you know, you had more capabilities to view and do things with the view data things. So I think Tableau kind of heard everyone, and so they're making some good changes in this regard. All right. I think that's you know, all we kind of had slated for. But if there are any other questions or anyone wants to see anything specific, we do have quite a bit of time left on the clock. And if not, no worries. We can give you back some time. Apologize about the Tableau trivia. We're having some issues with our platform today, but we'll definitely get that all sorted out for next month. All right, so if there's no questions, I guess we can kind of wrap up. Again, if you go out to our website, usergroup.phoenixtug.com, sign up for those updates, subscribe to updates. We're gonna post out July's session here in the next week or so, so you'll be able to register for that. Again, by that time, we'll have 22.2 released. We'll be able to go over some new features. We'll have some more speakers and presenters, demos, tips and tricks. If there is anything specific that you're all looking for, please let us know either in the chat or send us a note on email, LinkedIn, Twitter. There's 1,000 ways to get in touch with us and the leadership team. So always open to suggestions. All right, Adriana, that's all I had for now.
That's perfect. So let me just make sure yep, that's it. That you have all the information you need. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And like I said at the beginning, we'll be posting this deck and the presentation in our YouTube channel. You'll be getting this. So like Michael said, if you have any questions, so there are any particular topics that any of you would like to see, please feel free and email us. This time and this space is for you. So use it and take advantage of it. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and good weekend. If we have any fathers online, well, happy Father's Day for Sunday.
That's right. Happy Father's Day, all. All right, take care.
Bye, everyone.
See you next month.